The race to be your next U.S. Senator could be one of 2020's most fiercely fought campaigns in Texas. 12 Democrats are running for the party's nomination, and polls show voters don't yet have a clear favorite. But this week, Democrats in D.C. picked their top candidate. The Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, or DSCC, endorsed MJ Hagar. That's a big deal. That could give Hagar's campaign more resources and boost fundraising. Nevada Senator Catherine Cortez Masto chairs the DSCC. She called Hagar the strongest candidate to flip the Senate seat and highlighted her history as a decorated combat veteran and a working mom. The endorsement quickly drew criticism from the other candidates in the race, saying it leaves out voters of color and smacks of insider politics. Robert Hadlock spoke to one candidate who says the decision shows the party establishment does not represent Texas values.
Joining us now is Sema Hernandez, a Democrat running for U.S. Senate here in Texas. Welcome to our program. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for the invitation.
Sure. First of all, we want to get your response to the news that the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee endorsed your opponent, MJ Hagar, in the primary, which is kind of unusual. What's your response to that?
Well, to me, it's no surprise since Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer did recruit her to run for U.S. Senate. And this just shows the callousness and the disingenuous effort to replace John Cornyn with a corporate politician. What we need is a candidate who truly represents and reflects the needs of Texas and addresses the issues for the Green New Deal and Medicare for All, these progressive issues that I know have earned us the 24% of the vote across Texas during the last election in 2018. And I sincerely believe that the DSCC should not be putting their thumb on the scale to endorsing a candidate who doesn't really represent the values of what Texas needs.
You first came on the political radar here in Texas when you ran against Beto O'Rourke in the 2018 Senate primary. You got about a quarter of the vote back then.
Yes.
A lot of folks still aren't familiar with you. Tell us more about yourself.
So I'm running for United States Senate, of course, 2018, and I've told people that I was a baseball coach, community organizer, environmental justice advocate. I used to work in healthcare for 6 years. I was an insurance agent for 6 years as well. I'm a mother of 4 boys, and I'm a daughter of immigrants. I've worked in the fields. I know what it's like to live under oppressive conditions and policy violence and what that looks like. And to run for United States Senate as a working class candidate, it's something that I carry all my life experience, 34 years of life experience, to influence and introduce policy and legislation for the state of Texas and reflecting what the needs are of the working class.
One of the top issues, of course, seems like in all elections, is the healthcare situation in the country. What would you do as senator to help provide affordable health care to Americans?
Well, one, it's I've always stood by Medicare for All, and the bill that's in the Senate right now is Senate Bill 1129. That will guarantee every person will have health care and health care as a human right, as well as ending the for-profit health care system, ending the donut hole that most people have to get with health insurance once they get over a certain age. Ensuring that the maternal mortality rate is lowered by raising the standard of health care. And like most other countries, ensuring that the health care standard is raised across the board to ensure that the health insurance industry and their lobbyists don't dictate what the minimum standard of care is and that maternal mortality rate.
Would you support tax increases to pay for that?
Well, right now we already pay. We already pay through subsidies for the current health insurance system. So it's just simply allocating, moving those funds into a single payer healthcare system.
Immigration, another key issue of your platform. You've listed that at near the top. What do you think needs to change in the U.S. immigration system? Well,
right now we need to remove the how do you say, ICE? Remove it entirely out of the Homeland Security and take it back to prior to 2001, where it was the Immigration and Naturalization Services, and it was underneath the Department of Justice, where it would essentially insulate any policy influence from a president such as Trump from influencing these horrific policies that lead to family separation at the border, and introducing immigration reform that would honor and respect the current asylum and immigration laws that we currently have on the books,
You list on your website as being a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. If you're on the ballot this coming November, Republicans will, of course, attack you for being a member of the Socialist Democrats. How would you respond to that?
I welcome their hatred. I welcome their criticism. I welcome it all. They will view me as a Democratic Socialist. They will villainize me for being a socialist or a Democratic Socialist. That's no different. What I'm more concerned about is having a government that works for us, and I'm running to end the systemic poverty, systemic racism, and the ecological devastation that is brought on by policy violence, 40 years of neoliberal policy violence. And so if that means representing the working class, and if that will put me in their radar as a socialist for representing the working class, then so be it.
Of course, several Democrats in the primary race for Senate. How do you stand out, and how would you be the winner in November if you are the nominee?
Well, if 2018 was any indication of what we were able to do with very little money, I can tell you that winning the primary is going to be a piece of cake if we, one, get the word out, which is what we're doing here, and we continue to campaign on the issues. Not accepting any money from billionaires is a huge factor for progressive candidates, especially for voters who want their representative to represent them. Ensuring that we represent and talk about the issues that other candidates will not touch on, and expand on the Green New Deal, what Medicare for All means, and what ending the war economy means, supporting our veterans, ensuring that we have a VA system that is fully funded, that will address the needs of veterans, ensuring that we have a booming economy that doesn't revolve around the fossil fuel industry, and that our education is no longer privatized, an education that is affordable and for everyone.
Sema Hernandez, a Democrat running for Senate from Pasadena here in Texas. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Coming in. Nice to hear your views.